Hi, my name is Jeremy Bailey, B-A-I-L-E-Y. This is the first time that I'm able to speak in front of the board as an elected member of the Burrillville Town Council. Previously, I've spoken as just a constituent. If there was ever any question whether or not the town council or the town in general was opposed to this plant, let me tell you, from the amount of phone calls that I get, the amount of people that do not want this power plant greatly outweighs the people that don't, and I would say by a margin of 90% to about 10%. I'm going to talk briefly about 4 points tonight. Hopefully I can get them in 3 minutes. I'm going to talk a little bit about the need or the lack thereof. And I'm really just going to implore the board to look at Glenn Walker's testimony, his expert testimony that the town submitted. Look that over very carefully, because what we found is that he pokes holes in the expert testimony that Evasion submits. You know, we find this over and over again, that every time Evasion submits something, there are generally holes in their testimony. And an expert's testimony is only as good as his track record. And one of Evasion's experts has said, for the last 2 years, well, next year, we're going to sell the second turbine. Well, the next year, we're going to sell the second turbine. They don't have a very good track record, so therefore his expert testimony means very little compared to ones that have a greater track record. I want to talk to you a little bit about unacceptable harm to the environment. You'll also see in some of our other expert testimonies that there are going to be hundreds of thousands of pounds of toxins spewed into the atmosphere, not just Burrillville, but into the atmosphere of Rhode Island, surrounding Massachusetts and Connecticut every year. On top of that, Rhode Island is going to now be producing, should this be permitted, an additional 7 billion pounds of CO2. Now, we love being called the ocean state, but as we all know, CO2 is the massive cause of the sea level rising. And we want to continue to be called the ocean state, not the under-ocean state. I'd like to talk a little bit about the applicant. I just did a little bit before. I want to talk a little bit more about how they can't be trusted. Right down to the very beginning, when this whole process started, and we're going to talk about trust the process in a minute. When this whole process started, a multi-billion-dollar company that printed the wrong dates and times for meetings, this was outside of your hearings, but in our local paper, so people were showing up on the wrong days. Multi-billion-dollar companies don't make those mistakes multiple times. It's done on purpose. They're very evasive, as you've probably seen in the testimony that, and all the data requests. Their answers are evasive. Even all of our town governments have said how evasive they've been. Let's talk about trust the process. The DOT recently said, we are asking the State Traffic Commission to help ensure that large commercial trucks do not use local roads and neighborhoods as throughways, but rather that they stay on limited access interstates, which are designed to accommodate them. They go on to say, this ensures safety for both people and roads. It helps preserve the quality of life in our towns, rural areas, and neighborhoods.
Thank you, sir.